Division B Surface Transportation Investment Act of 2021. Title I Multimodal and Freight Transportation. This title establishes and expands provisions related to the National Multimodal Freight Policy and components of the National Freight System. 1. Establishes an Office of Multimodal Freight Infrastructure and Policy within the Department of Transportation, DOT. 2. Expands the National Freight Strategic Plan to include best practices for reducing environmental impacts of freight movement, strategies to increase the resilience of the freight system, and consideration of potential impacts of the freight system on rural and historically disadvantaged communities. 3. Authorizes funding for a National Culvert Removal, Replacement, and Restoration Grant Program to address anadromous fish passage. 4. Directs DOT to establish a pilot program within the Build America Bureau to provide financial, technical, and legal assistance to help rural and tribal communities with development phase activities when evaluating potential transportation projects. 5. Provides statutory authority for the Railroad Rehabilitation and Improvement Financing, RRIF, loan program and makes modifications to the program, and 6. Requires DOT to periodically submit a report to Congress that identifies the number of applicants that sought a RRIF loan for a transit-oriented development project, the number of loans provided to such applicants, and the reasons for providing or declining to provide requested loans. Title II Rail Passenger Rail Expansion and Rail Safety Act of 2021. This title addresses various passenger rail-related issues, including Amtrak, intercity passenger rail policy, and rail safety. 1. Authorizes through FY2026 grants to support Amtrak's intercity passenger rail service on the Northeast Corridor and the national network. 2. Requires Amtrak to ensure at least one Amtrak ticket agent is employed at each station building that averages at least 40 passengers per day. 3. Directs a working group to provide recommendations to improve Amtrak's onboard food and beverage service. 4. Prohibits smoking, including the use of electronic cigarettes, on all Amtrak trains. 5. Modifies provisions related to the Northeast Corridor Commission, including to require the Commission to submit a service development plan that identifies key state of good repair flexibility and resources for states to address grade crossing safety issues. 6. Directs the Federal Railroad Administration to establish a 3-year blocked crossing portal to receive, store, and retrieve information regarding blocked highway rail grade crossings, and 7. Directs DOT to seek to enter into an agreement with the National Academies to conduct a study and issue a report on the safety impacts of freight trains longer than 7,500 feet. Title III Motor Carrier Safety. This title addresses provisions related to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, and its related programs covering commercial drivers and vehicles. 1. Reauthorizes through FY2026 the use of the Highway Trust Fund to pay the administrative expenses of the FMCSA and provide financial assistance for various programs, including to carry out the Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program, the Commercial Motor Vehicle Enforcement Training and Support Grant Program, and the Commercial Motor Vehicle Operators Grant Program. 2. Revises the High Priority Program to include projects that address human trafficking in a commercial motor vehicle or by any driver or passenger. 3. Directs DOT to establish an immobilization grant program to provide discretionary grants to states for the immobilization or impoundment of passenger-carrying commercial motor vehicles that are determined to be unsafe or fail inspection. 4. Establishes a grant program to provide discretionary grants for nonprofit organizations to provide training to non-federal employees who conduct commercial motor vehicle enforcement activities. 5. Requires the FMCSA to establish and facilitate a Women of Trucking Advisory Board to promote organizations and programs that provide education, training, mentorship, or outreach to women in the trucking industry and recruit, retain, or advance women into the trucking industry. 6. Requires DOT to prescribe a motor vehicle safety standard and accompanying performance requirements for automatic emergency braking systems for heavy-duty commercial motor vehicles, and 7. Directs DOT to promulgate regulations to implement an apprenticeship program for licensed commercial motor vehicle drivers under the age of 21. Title IV Highway and Motor Vehicle Safety. This title addresses provisions related to highway safety research and development, high visibility enforcement, national priority safety, and vehicle safety programs of DOT. 1. Authorizes the FY2026 DOT programs related to highway safety research and development, high visibility enforcement, and national priority safety programs. 2. Directs DOT to carry out an education campaign to reduce the incidence of vehicular heatstroke of children left in passenger motor vehicles and establish a program to provide grants to states for use in developing and implementing processes for informing each owner and lessee of a motor vehicle of open recalls during vehicle registration. 3. requires DOT to conduct 3 high-visibility traffic safety law enforcement campaigns in each of fiscal years 2022 through 2026. 4. Revises national priority safety programs of DOT, including programs that address distracted and impaired driving. 5. Establishes the Motorcyclist Advisory Council to advise DOT on motorcycle safety issues, including road design and maintenance, barrier design, and use of intelligent transportation systems. 6. Authorizes through FY2026 National Highway Traffic Safety Administration motor vehicle safety programs and activities. 7. Requires motor vehicle manufacturers to report to DOT information on recall campaigns, including the number of affected vehicles and the number of repaired vehicles, and 8. Directs DOT to implement rules to establish minimum performance standards with respect to crash avoidance technology and to require on all new motor vehicles forward collision warning and automatic emergency braking systems, and lane departure and lane keeping assist systems. Title V Research and Innovation. This title addresses provisions related to research and innovation programs of DOT and other federal agencies. Among other provisions, the title 1. Requires DOT to create a website that includes a compilation of resources for states and local communities to use in developing and implementing intelligent transportation system programs or smart community transportation programs. 2. Directs DOT to establish the Strengthening Mobility and Revolutionizing Transportation Grant Program to support demonstration projects on smart technologies that improve transportation efficiency and safety, including autonomous vehicles and smart grids to support electric vehicles. 3. Establishes the Advanced Research Projects Agency infrastructure within DOT to fund research and development on advanced transportation infrastructure technologies. 4. Directs DOT to establish an advanced transportation research pilot program for universities, nonprofit organizations, and other entities to submit unsolicited research proposals to DOT. 5. Requires DOT to implement a strategy to use infrastructure investments to support the travel and tourism industry during the COVID-19 pandemic. 6. Addresses the barrier states face in submitting alcohol and drug toxicology results to the Fatality Analysis Reporting System, which provides nationwide data on fatal injuries related to motor vehicle crashes. 7. Requires DOT to report on methods to improve access to marijuana products for scientific research on marijuana-impaired driving and to make recommendations on how to address any federal barriers to conducting research on marijuana-impaired driving, and 8. Directs the Government Accountability Office, GAO, to study the potential societal benefits of improving the efficiency of traffic systems. Title V Hazardous Materials. This title reauthorizes through FY2026 the Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Program and other safety programs of DOT. The title also directs DOT to establish a grant program to develop a hazardous materials response training curriculum for emergency responders and to make such training available in an electronic format. Additionally, the title revises requirements for Class I railroads that transport hazardous materials to share real-time emergency response information by providing certain information to appropriate state and local officials, including the quantity of hazardous materials. Title VII General Provisions. This title addresses various provisions related to DOT, including performance standards, forced labor, the electromagnetic spectrum, and travel and tourism activities. 1. Authorizes DOT to develop metrics and establish performance standards that use such metrics to assess the effectiveness of grants awarded under the bill. 2. Requires DOT to ensure that no illegal products or materials produced with forced labor are procured with funding under the bill. 3. Directs DOT and the National Telecommunications and Information Administration to audit the electromagnetic spectrum assigned to DOT, the purposes for which the assigned spectrum is used, and the portions of spectrum being shared with other users, and 4. Requires DOT to study and report on travel and tourism activities within DOT and how it evaluates travel and tourism needs in reviewing applications for grant programs. Title VIII Sport Fish Restoration and Recreational Boating Safety. This title reauthorizes through FY2026 the Sport Fish Restoration and Boating Trust Fund, which provides funding for several programs, including coastal wetlands, water and boating infrastructure, and recreational boating safety. It also requires an amount to be set aside each fiscal year through FY2026 for administration of the National Recreational Boating Safety Program and the Wildlife Restoration Fund. The title also requires the GAO to report on 1. The increasing use of non-motorized vessels and their impacts on motorized and non-motorized vessel access, 2. User conflicts at waterway access points, 3. The use of Sport Fish Restoration Program funds to improve non-motorized vessel access and the reasons for providing such access, and 4. The use of recreational boating safety program funds for non-motorized boating safety programs.